Hey everybody, this is another new song for you. It's called "Grieve The Wreckage," and it was inspired by a time that I was in North Carolina, caring for some friends who had come back from being in difficult situations in different places around the world, and yeah, so I have a place where I go for a walk in the woods and sit down and yeah, and that place has become very precious to me. Almost even I would say it's become kind of a sacred place where I get to go and uh, just intentionally meet with God. It's been set apart for that purpose in my life, and yeah, it so the way that this particular place is where I go for a walk, it's on a nice gravel pathway and stuff. Sometimes I like to go uh, where where no man has gone before, um, but this particular path in the woods is nice and uh, walking path, and it's got some benches, and so kind of like there's a bench this way, and then there's two benches this way, and it's just been a precious place for me to go and as I'm spending time with these friends who are processing difficult experiences. Um, that's a place where we would go and pray for one another. And so on this particular time I was going for the walk, I got to the place where the benches normally were, and the two of the benches had been completely uprooted out of the ground, and I just got really sad. And I was really mad at myself for being sad about benches being turned over, and I couldn't figure out what in the world was going on with me. Like, I was to the point of, like, getting a bit man misty about the whole situation. I was like, man, this is stupid. Like, it's just some benches out in the woods. But like I said, I I realized after a while, after talking with the Lord about it, like, God, why is this messing with me so much? Um, he just brought to mind some of the sweet times that I had had there with with people that I had kind of bared their burdens, and they had bared one another's burdens, and did I say bared? They bore one another's burdens. I think that's the word. Anyways, this is a place where just some sweet times happen, and some times of encouragement and taking one another to the throne room of Jesus together. And so that was the place where that happened. And sometimes I would go there just by myself. And one time I went there and sat down and just had just a great talk with the Lord there. And and just in the middle of my prayer time, these deer came up and just were walking right behind me, maybe like 30 feet from me. Um, so, anyways, you know, a bit more of my story, it has to do with um, you know, surrendering my life to Jesus when I was 5 years old, and I really think that was 100% legitimate. That I really did give my whole life to Jesus when I was 5. And you may say, well, how could you know enough about life to know, to give your life over at that point? Um, but how can you know enough at 55 or 75? I think that you can know enough at 5 to trust that there is one who made everything, and that the story of Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection is true. Um, and yeah, and so I knew that, but I fell away from the Lord. I actually ran away from the Lord really hard later on in life, and deconstructed my faith to the point of atheism. Went all the way there. And I could be happy to talk about that more some other time, or if you have any questions specifically, feel free to hit me up. But one of the things that I had deconstructed was this idea of places being significant, specifically church, because the church was kind of thought of as this place that we would go to, and so when I reconstructed my faith, I was like, oh yeah, this is just a part of kind of cultural Christianity, because really the church is the people, and so places are insignificant. But that is not 100% true that places are insignificant. It is true that the church is the people of God. That's true. The church meets in spaces, and meets in homes, and meets in sanctuaries and things like that. But the church is the people of God. That is true. And places can also be significant. If you just kind of wondering about that, the New Jerusalem is going to be a place on earth, and the Garden of Eden was a place where God had prepared for people. God's promises to people all throughout the Scriptures have to do with a physical place, and so. Anyways, all that to say, places matter, and we shouldn't feel silly if those places get wrecked. But I really think a friend of ours, Julie, was telling us that sometimes our tears are borrowed tears. And in other words, maybe some things that would seem insignificant might kind of trigger you to begin to process some things that you haven't processed at another time. And so you're kind of borrowing emotions. Anyways, all of that to say, I ended up writing a song based upon that whole experience of those benches being turned over in the woods, my little sacred place out there to meet with God, that had been messed up, and that kind of gave me the impetus, I guess, to just write a song about it being it's okay. It's all right that I was sad. It's okay that I shed a tear or two or 12 about about that place. And it's okay as well if you're going through a difficult time today. I know I just saw a dear friend, an old friend, and his wife is in the hospital today. So Casey Campbell, this is for you, buddy, and for Wendy and for everybody. So love you guys, and hope that this song ministers to you. Brothers and sisters, if you get to the end and it ain't good, it ain't the end. And we know that all the pain won't compare to all the joy in heaven. When we see the world around and we know that it ain't right, sometimes we might get angry. Sometimes we need to cry. Well, it's okay today to grieve the wreckage. Sometimes I stand in the sunlight, tears down my face, I don't know why. Certain smells, certain places remind me of hurtful places in my heart and in my mind. Well, I don't want to snuggle up with my fears. And I don't want to live my life in a rear view mirror. When I see the world around and I know that it ain't right, sometimes I might get angry, sometimes I need to cry. And it's okay today to grieve the wreckage. Oh, well, if you get to the end and it ain't good, it ain't the end. Well, that was not a perfect rendition of that song, but I think I'm just going to send it out to you just like that. Yeah. Love you guys. I hope that you feel cared for through this thing that I'm doing. Appreciate you listening. Bye-bye.